Every night after midnight, Ben's old tube TV would flicker to life with a horrible, ear-splitting screech. It was always tuned to a snowy static with random lines of text that made no sense. But for the last few weeks, something else had been appearing on the screen. A face. At first it was nothing but a blurry mass superimposed over the snow. But each night it got clearer and clearer, and now it was showing what appeared to be a man in his 30s, with slicked back hair and a black and white striped shirt. He looked distressed, like he was trying to get out of something, and every night he seemed to be getting closer to the camera. Ben had tried unplugging the TV, but the face kept coming back. Sometimes there were other faces with him, but they never seemed to show up on their own. They were always with him. Just before sunrise this morning, Ben woke up to the face being right up against the glass, practically nose to nose with him. The man had grinned at him and whispered his name. Startled, Ben yanked the plug out of the wall socket and the face vanished, but then it started coming from somewhere else. Ben turned around to see the static coming from his full-length mirror. The same face was in there grinning at him. Ben backed away from the mirror and shook his head. Was he going crazy? Was this some elaborate prank by whoever had lived in the house before him? He didn't know. There was only one way to find out. He went into his attic, the only room in the house he hadn't checked yet. Up here, surrounded by old boxes and cobwebs, were even more TVs. There was one just like the one downstairs. Ben approached it cautiously, half expecting the face to appear on the screen when he touched it. As he brushed the dust off the TV, an old magazine fell from behind it. Opening it, Ben found an article about various methods of communication with the dead. One of them mentioned a séance in front of a mirror. Suddenly, Ben felt cold fingers tracing down his spine. He ran downstairs, grabbed the TV remote and smashed it against the mirror, shattering it into a million pieces. When the police arrived, they found Ben kneeling beside his broken mirror. He told them about the face that had been appearing on his TV and then in the mirror, but they didn't believe him. To them, it sounded like the ravings of a madman. They took Ben in for a psychiatric evaluation and committed him to a hospital, but Ben was sure that something supernatural was happening in his house. Every night, the face came to him through the television or the mirror. He didn't know why, but he wasn't crazy. One night, a nurse came into Ben's room to give him his medication. She saw the TV flickering in the corner, the one they had brought to the hospital to keep him entertained, and she walked over to turn it off. On the screen was the face of a man with slicked back hair and a black and white striped shirt. The nurse screamed as the face grinned at her and whispered her name. When the doctors heard the commotion, they rushed into the room to find the nurse cowering in the corner. The TV was off, but now the static was coming from the nurse's mirror image. She backed away from it, eyes wide with terror, as the face emerged from the static and stepped out of the mirror. The doctors watched in disbelief as the spectre approached them, its grin widening. Ben watched from his bed, pleased that finally someone believed him. The doctors screamed as the ghostly apparition loomed over them, reaching out a hand to touch one of the doctors' faces. Then it vanished, leaving nothing but a cold spot and a lingering smell of ozone. Ben got out of bed and walked over to the TV. The static had returned to the screen, but now there was a new message. It said, "Thank you for setting me free." Then the screen went black. Ben smiled, knowing he was finally safe, but then he heard a voice whisper in his ear, "Now, it's my turn to play." Terrified, Ben spun around to see the face from the mirror standing behind him, grinning from ear to ear.